The trends coming to us in social media this year are not what you think it is. It's not about the bigger the better. It's not about these 100,000 followers or growing our Instagram communities or how to create the most content. In fact, it's the absolute opposite. So let's talk a little bit about what these trends are and how you can actually take a sigh of relief when you hear these. So there are a number of trends that are coming through this year in social media that are really just turning what we think of social media on its head. I think 2020 is going to be a really big year for that. However, there's two trends that I really wanted to highlight for you because I think they're really important, and I think they're going to just be so powerful for you in your content creation. So the first trend is digital detox. We're going to talk about that. And the second trend is tight-knit communities. So let's see what I mean here. Okay, so digital detox. This is a phrase that people have been using a lot, especially in 2019. So we saw 78,000 conversations around social media wellness last year. This is huge. This is a really big trend that is starting to come through. And in the National Day of Unplugging had 3,300 mentions of people taking, part in that, talking about it, having conversations around getting off of social media in a healthy way. And it's really interesting because normally people want to take a negative approach to any given topic. But the interesting thing is that the sentiment around these conversations was actually quite positive. So Talk Walker social media trends for 2020 was one of the reports that I was researching and reading through. And they said the digital detox movement is a significantly joyful movement, helping people manage social more mindfully. And so it's not necessarily talking about social media in this negative light, like we need to get off social media is the devil, or we need to, stop using social media, but more in this positive and joyful idea of let's be mindful around our usage of social media. How can we do this to use it better? How can we incorporate social media into our lives in a mindful way? And we think this comes from, social media addiction is now a recognized affliction. So it's not just something we used to say, oh my gosh, you're so addicted to the phone. You're so addicted to social media. Now it is a recognized affliction that people can actually be diagnosed with. And I think this has really caused consumers to be more aware of their usage. That, hey, this is actually something that is not good for me. And this movement comes from a place of information overload. We have Google at our fingertips. We have the answer to any question in the universe at our fingertips. And we are constantly bombarded with content, with information, facts, value, all that kind of stuff, which is great, but it's a lot. And 96% of marketers are planning to increase their content this year. But the interesting thing is that that's not necessarily what users want. It's not about creating as much content as possible and just suffocating their feeds with our photos. It is about creating quality content, which we're going to get into in a minute. Focus on the conversation, allowing voices to be heard. Remember that your social media platforms are about a community. It's a community around this shared passion or interest or cause, not just a soapbox. And I really like to say, it's not the Bree show. I know that I'm very enthusiastic and flamboyant and charismatic and all that kind of stuff, but it's not the Bree show. I love showcasing my clients and creating content that is about you and mentioning people within my community when I can, because I love having that two-sided conversation, not just talking at you, but talking with you, getting to know you better. And so this is what people are craving. They don't want to just be a drop in the ocean. They don't want to just be one of 150,000 followers. They want to be a valued part of a community online, which is where we're finding our communities now. And so this brings me to tight-knit tribes. Vanity metrics don't count for anything anymore. I mean, it's going to take a lot of people to shift in this mindset. It's going to take a lot of time for brands to shift in this mindset. But, you know, it used to be, how can I grow my Instagram following? How can I grow my followers? How can I grow my community? And it's not about that anymore. And I've really seen that as well when I try and put something out there teaching people how to grow their communities. It's not as well received as maybe it was 2 years ago even. And so this is really interesting and very exciting for us who have smaller followings. You know, I have less than 1,000 followers, and sometimes I can get frustrated because it doesn't feel like it's growing by 100 followers every day, you know, or you gain 5 new followers and you lose 3. So the bigger your number of followers, the less likely you are to connect on a human level, and that's not desirable to your community. They want to know you, they want to feel like they're your friend, and they want to know that they're a valued part of your day. They want to know that you have time to respond to their comments, to answer their questions. You know, if they send you a direct message, that you can actually reply. So this is important to them, and it's good news for us. So welcome to Dark Social. Dark Social is not about the dark web. It is the social that happens in private chat groups, DMs, and communities. It's where consumers truly feel connected, valued, and heard. So apps like WhatsApp, for example, are going to be more and more important for businesses and brands because it provides this one-on-one channel for people to connect with brands, to ask their questions, to feel that their opinions, their questions are heard. I mean, have conversations with them. So that's like, for example, private Facebook groups as well are a really great place to facilitate these communities, knowing that there's like this exclusive content that happens there, but also these great conversations are happening and people are supporting each other and they feel supported and they feel heard. So that's what the dark web is all, or the dark social is all about. So focus on quality over quantity. Tian Kai Fang said it's the brand's responsibility to make sure their time is worthwhile when they're online, through timely and relevant content. And so we're going to see a pickup in ephemeral content, you know, stories, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, things like that. And that's going to be the consistent daily content that we want to be seeing, whereas there's going to be a drop off in the feed posts. And so where, you know, last year I would have said you need to be posting every day on Facebook and Instagram. There's just no way around it. That's the only way that you can grow your following. Now I'm really in this mindset shift because the content that we are producing maybe 2-3 times a week needs to be quality. It needs to be based around your opinions of reports or industry, industry books that come out. It needs to be an interview with someone in the industry, a tutorial that shows someone how to do something, facilitating a conversation. You know, the content that we are going to be creating going forward this year is going to be less, but way more in terms of quality. And unfortunately, a lot of brands are just going to be creating a lot of shit content and a lot of it. And so we have this amazing opportunity to spend less time creating heaps of content and instead putting that time towards creating quality content only a couple of times a week. You know, people are craving authenticity. We are tired of the perfect lifestyles on Instagram. We know that's not real. We are done with that. We just want to connect with people who share our passions. And so this is something that Amy Finlayson has taught me: create before you consume. We can all go down that rabbit hole once we get onto social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and just get so down on ourselves. You know, we look at other people within our niche or our industry and feel like we're not creating content as good as them. We don't look as good as them. Our family isn't as together as they are. Whatever it may be. And so this has been really powerful for me to just create the content before I consume it and allow my creative energy to flourish before I even look at any other content creators online. So I want to share that message because I think it's a powerful one. And I hope that this actually brings you some relief in knowing that Get deep about the content that you want to create less of it, create it better, and consistently get on Instagram stories.